This is Life Transformation Radio. Prepare to engage. Seatbelt activated. Download initiated. Your quantum journey of transformation begins in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Life Transformation Radio. Hi, I'm Rob Actis, best-selling author of The Law of Action, voice actor, business mindset coach, the podcast whisperer, and Mr. Action himself. Life Transformation Radio is heard in over 90 countries. Thank you for joining us from all around the world. Whether it's your first time joining us or you've been listening to Life Transformation Radio for some time, I want to personally thank you. Here at Life Transformation Radio, we are committed to share more about real life, love, the power of positivity, romance, and of course, laughter. We care about helping others find their internal drive and purpose. We celebrate life's challenges and overcoming them. Also, personal invitation from me to you. Please join us on Facebook in the Life Transformation Radio community. On the show, my guests are amazing people who are forces for good in the world around them and live a life of transformation. My guest today, she does just that. Today, Janelle Lara and I discuss how to be comfortable with taking risks and be okay with starting over and over and over and over again. So if you want to discover who you are, release the expectations from others, and be willing to be gloriously more than what you think you are supposed to be, this is the show for you. Janelle Lara is the CEO and founder of The Part-Time CEO, a former teacher and school administrator. Well, she's now a mother, international best-selling author, cutting-edge business strategist, podcast host, and guide to six-figure CEOs worldwide. With thousands of podcast downloads, multiple six figures in annual sales, and dozens of successful clients, Janelle is the original spokesperson for the six-figure part-time lifestyle. Most importantly, Janelle is a wife, a stay-at-home mom to two, and she's been featured on ABC, Fox, Task Shift, and CEO Blog Nation, as well as lots and lots of podcasts. Janelle, here's another one for you. Welcome to Life Transformation Radio.
Rob, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Absolutely. Glad to have you here. All right. So like we were talking before we started, I went to your website and it said 2.5, and I thought it was 2.5 hours a day. And you're saying 2.5 days a week. So, okay, I feel a little bit better because I work way more. But the thing about that is it really work if you absolutely positively love what you do? And as I whisper, we would actually do what we do for free, but luckily we get paid for it. Like, seriously.
I know. Sometimes I feel like I'm living in like a dream world, but I have to give a caveat that even when you're doing what you absolutely love, it's rare that you love doing it every single day. And so that's really why I only work 2.5 days a week, because I know that, too much of a good thing is not a good thing. And so that's something that's really important for me, is to create that balance and to create that space in my life to miss my work, to miss my clients, so that I can come back and be fully present and give it my all.
I love it. I will say that I'm unique in this position in that I love going into my studio, getting behind the microphone and creating. Like, I love that. Voiceovers, love it. I mean, I love it. And I would do it 7 days a week, which I don't do, but it's amazing. Yeah. And so, I can see what you say. I do take Sundays off. So I'm getting there. I'm not at 2.5 days. Good. I do take Sundays off. I just don't work on Sundays. So, and I have found that, I can't imagine how recharged you are if you're only working 2.5 days a week compared to I work 5 or 6. But you know what? I will say, as entrepreneurs, do we really work those 6 days? Because I do what I want to do when I do it. And so it's not like I'm punching a time clock. And so I think that's different.
Totally. And the other days of the week, I'm a stay-at-home mom, right? And so it's kind of the same thing where it's like, I have the opportunity to decide what it is that I want to do on any given day and to show up the way that I want to show up. And the truth is that I would love to work my business more. However, this is also a really special time. My kids are really young. And so I want to be present for them as well. And so that's the beauty of this entrepreneurial lifestyle is we get to choose. You get to work what you love to do 6 days a week. I get to work what I love and want to do also 6 days a week. It just looks a little different depending on the day.
Yeah, that's so true. And, working hard and then playing hard is so, so important. Now, we talk about transformation on this show, so I want to talk about some of your transformations. You have a series of transformations, and I love how you wrote this and when you sent this to me, that you were a poor teacher. Now, would that be poor, pitiful me, or would it be they didn't pay you for what you're worth?
That would definitely be, I was not paid what I was worth. I actually loved teaching, Rob. I loved teaching. I had the best students. I was really good at it, but it just, gosh, they do not pay teachers nearly as much as they're worth.
What grade did you teach?
I taught middle school. So it was a private school. So it was 6th through 8th grade history and English.
Wow. Yeah. And that's amazing in private school. So I find that fascinating that private schools don't pay their teachers really, really well when private schools are really, really expensive.
Right. You would think. Yep.
But I bet the owner of the private school had a really nice house.
Well, it's no comment.
I love it. And then so you transformed from poor teacher to overworked assistant principal.
Yeah.
So you were dedicated to those kids, which I find very admirable.
Well, thank you. I think something that I was looking for and searching for in my career was the entrepreneurial freedom that we just talked about, right? I wanted control over my workday. I wanted to be able to go to the bathroom whenever I needed to eat whenever I wanted to, right? And as a teacher, you can't do that. You're stuck. You've got your classroom, you've got your students, right, that you're in charge of. And so for me, I thought that moving into administration and not having classes would give me freedom over my schedule. It would give me a little bit more control. And what I actually found was the exact opposite. Unfortunately, I was groomed to be an assistant principal because I was a good teacher. I'm bilingual, all the things. And what I found was that a lot of the issues that teachers are experiencing in the classroom are because administrators are actually educators. They're not business people. And so it would make a lot of sense to us as business owners to pay your people well, to take good care of them, to really protect those great teachers. But because these were educators and not business people, they were not making good decisions regarding school administration. And so I really walked into a very toxic environment where it was just really overworked teachers who turned around and became overworked and underpaid administrators. So it was really not a good situation. Okay,
so you're an assistant principal, and now you're a successful CEO and a stay-at-home mom, and you work 2.5 days a week. See, I got it right that time.
Yeah.
So how did you go from being a poor teacher, overworked assistant principal, to being an entrepreneur? How did you do that? Share that story.
Yeah. Rob, I would love to say that I was an overnight success, but you and I both know that doesn't exist. So I would say that my journey really started in college. I, read The Secret. I was listening to Wayne Dyer. I really got into kind of that philosophy of the law of attraction. And I was raised, and I'm still actually very religious. I'm Catholic. But I also knew that there was something to be said for knowing what you wanted your life to look like, and being really strong and understanding that what you want is possible for you. And so I was really strong in my convictions of I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom when I became a parent. I wanted to live a fulfilled life. I wanted to use my gifts and talents in a way that is really meaningful. And so I became an assistant principal. I was very young when I was hired. I was 24, again, was groomed to this position, right? And I think, honestly, I was taken advantage of because I was young and I was cheap and I was naive, right? Became an assistant principal, entered a really toxic and really abusive work situation where I was working 80 hours a week and really having to rely on very poor leadership. And I think that was a distinction for me that I was very frustrated with, was this concept of poor leaders being promoted because they put on this show of hard work and hustle and, I can put in more hours than you can. And I mean, I remember the principal that I worked for, if there was a day off, if we had like a Monday off for Labor Day, he was in the office and his 2 little kids were at home, right? And so I just saw this man whose father had died at his age of a heart attack, and was very concerned about him and his stress levels, and just seeing the lifestyle that was awaiting me in the field of education. And I was just like, this will not be me. I cannot live to work. And so I ended up leaving that assistant principalship at the end of January, which is the middle of the school year. And so that was a huge deal. It was a huge decision, but I just knew I could not go on, again, working for, it was really a narcissistic environment. It was very toxic for my mental health. Knew I had to do what was best for me, but because it was the middle of the school year, no one was hiring teachers. And so what I did is I went ahead and started a tutoring company. And so, and amidst all of this, found out that I was pregnant. My husband and I had just gotten married the year before. So basically got married, left my job, got pregnant, and started a company all within 3 or 4 months.
Wow.
Super
okay.
fun.
So there's a distinction in there. And I think it's important as an entrepreneur, what you said. And the distinction is, a lot of people would say, I quit my job and I started tutoring. What you said was, I started a tutoring company. And that is a big distinction.
Yeah. I would never, for me, anything that I do, Rob, and I think that this is really a distinction between an entrepreneur and a hobbyist, right? Like anything that I do, for me, it's very important that it is done very, very well. And so I had so many contacts in the education space. I had been a teacher for years in the same area. I could have just texted parents. I could have just dropped a post on Facebook. I created a branding guide. I created a marketing strategy. To me, it was very important that everything that I did was worthy of what I knew I eventually wanted to create, which was this lifestyle company. And I don't think if you would have asked me, if I would have even known what that was or what that meant. But now looking back, I realized that I was always looking to create a company that I could run that would offer me that financial freedom, that financial independence, but also give me the opportunity to be a stay-at-home mom. And so, no, I did not just start tutoring. I started a company in every way.
Well, I think that's great. And you had me at branding guide. It's so important. So I have a small boutique creative agency. And what's so powerful and people don't realize, a lot of people just, hey, create a logo for me. Okay. Well, there has to be a reason for the logo that you have, and it's your identity. So, for example, when I purchased Life Transformation Radio, I rebranded it. And I rebranded it in a couple different ways. One, I wanted to add my spirit and my energy to the branding. It was no longer, Life Transformation Radio with Sean Douglas. It was Life Transformation Radio with Rob Actis and friends. And that was a big distinction because I consider everybody that I have on as guests as friends, and I'm very picky of who I allow on. I do a lot of research on people, not just them submitting, but I take great pride in who I bring on and who I don't bring on. And it's so important to me. And the branding guide really puts things in motion in ways that people don't understand. It's actually the foundation of your business, and it's the heart and the soul and the heartbeat of your business. And it's the look and the feel. But part of a branding guide is your mission and why you do what you do. And you're putting things in a totally different realm of possibility by doing that.
Yeah, totally, Rob. And I think what you're really talking about is the emotion that you evoke in the person who is observing your business, right? Whether they're going to your website or catching you in a Clubhouse room or listening to a podcast episode. And I will say for you as well, like I so appreciate and I'm so honored to have been selected to be on your podcast, because as I was kind of doing my own research on you, and I have to tell you, you're my last interview before I go on maternity leave. I'm having my second baby here really soon. And and I have, as you can imagine, I'm taking a 12-week maternity leave. So there's so much going on. And so for me to decide, is this worthwhile, and to listen to you and the way that you interview, the emotion that you evoke with your introductions, with your questions, with your branding, right? Like I can totally tell that you are absolutely in love with Life Transformation Radio. And that makes such a difference. It makes such a difference in the energy and the people that you attract. And I think that really is, as you said, the heart and soul of a company is the emotion that you evoke in the potential audience.
Well, thank you for those kind words. They're very humbling. And yeah, it's amazing how, Sean Douglas, and I'll give him some kudos. He listens to the show. A dear friend of mine, he was doing the show 4 days a week for 3.5 years, every day at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we just celebrated the 500 show. So I bought it, and I had to have him come back. We did an overview of the 500 show of the episodes because, look, I did not come in to change it. What I wanted to do was just add Rob's, secret sauce or my special formula and take it to the next level. He had brought it up to something incredible. And then I took the torch and I ran with it. And it means something to me. Life transformation means something to me. The decision to buy this was made in a matter of minutes, like 5 minutes. And
that's amazing.
Yeah. So in the branding, if you look at it, if you go back and look at it, there's a mandala in there and then the flower of life. So it's become very spiritual and energetic. And, some people say woo woo, and I'm all about that. And I'm very curious of people that have that, like your friend, Kim Woods. I mean, she's amazing and just like, wow. And it was just so much fun. And the people that are attracted to that and the energy that the branding brings is truly remarkable. I mean, the guests that have come toward my show, I'm like, that's amazing. So it's really energetic. It's so important for energy in your brand and your business. And I looked at yours. It's the Mutual Admiration Society right now. And it's just spot on. It's just really spot on. It's very precise. And it's obvious that you're heart-centered. And I'm attracted to heart-centered people. And I'm like, oh yeah, I love her. She's great. Definitely a yes. So, yeah, and I'm glad that you started a business. And one of the things is that I'm a champion for women and empowerment. And I think that's so important. And one of the things that I want to dive in on, I think it's so important, is you only working 2.5 hours a week. But in essence, you work 40 hours a week because you're a mom. So I don't want to discount that. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. So you will just say, working for your company for 2.5 days a week, but I think you definitely work. I mean, it's a lot of work. But what I wanted to dive in on, and I talk about it all the time, and it's so important, and women don't honor themselves with self-care. And it's obvious that you do. You take really good care of yourself. And because of that, you're able to take care of your family. It's kind of like you have to take care of yourself first before you take care of anybody else. So am I accurate in thinking or saying that you take really good care of yourself first and build that solid foundation for you so you can take care of your family?
Rob, it's so funny that you bring that up. The short answer is yes, absolutely. You are very, very accurate. And I want to go back to what you said about energetic alignment, right? Like that is absolutely so important. And I think right now it's considered woo. I think in 20 years, it's just going to be standard business advice, right? Like having that energetic alignment is so crucial. And you cannot have that energetic alignment cannot exist without filling your cup. And I think when you speak to someone, I'm going to go back to Kim Woods, because we both know her, and Kim Woods was my coach last year. She was pivotal for me in terms of my spiritual growth. And I mean, when you speak to someone like Kim Woods, I mean, you can tell that she is pouring into her own cup, that she is committed to her spiritual practice, to her meditative practice, to continuing to learn and being a lifelong learner. And so absolutely, I do. I have a ton of support. I am very committed to my self-care practice, which includes, all the things, the spiritual, the physical, the emotional. And it's hilarious because my sister just came to visit us, and I was treating her, right. And really just, she's 14 years younger than me, so she feels like a daughter or like a niece. And I was like, all right, Jones, like, let's go get, her name's Joanna. We call her Jones. Let's go do the things. Like, I'm going to have you go with my masseuse, and we're going to go get our hair done together and all the things. And she was like, literally the transformation that I saw in my 16-year-old sister from the time that she landed to when she was leaving. I mean, she was like, I'm going to go kill it at high school, because she's going to be a junior in a new school. I'm going to go kill it. Like, I'm going to own this school year. She had all new out. I mean, she was just on top of the world. And I don't think enough women experience that confidence because they do not take care of themselves. And so anyways, you can tell I'm really passionate about that.
No, I am too. It just boggles my mind of the guests and the conversations that I've had on many podcasts and just in life in general, of how many women don't feel worthy to take care of themselves. I know. And they feel so guilty when they do. And so what advice would you give to a woman of how to honor herself and that she's worthy of that?
Gosh, I will say that having daughters has been transformational for me, because for that exact reason, I did not witness a mother who took care of herself, at least not as much as I do, right? And so I think for me, having my daughter Adelaide, I mean, I want to not only be an example for her with my words of how, I want her to be treated and who I want her to become and what she's worthy of. I know that I need to be an example with my actions. And so I think that was really transformational for me, was thinking about, how do I want my daughter to live? How do I want her to take care of herself? What do I want her to expect in relationships, including the relationship with herself? And what do I want her to know without a shadow of a doubt of what she is worthy of? And so to women out there, if you are, blessed to have a daughter or a young girl in your life that you, really love, or even thinking about your own self and your own inner child and you as a child, like, what would you want that little girl to know and to see as an example and to believe that she is worthy of? And I just really encourage you to step into that role, to be that example for her. And once I think about it that way, you know, Rob, I mean, I can tell the difference, like on the days, I mean, because I'm not, you know, I don't have, you know, live-in nannies, right? Like I have days where I'm exhausted, where I'm not feeling well, where I'm burnt out, right? Where I'm not taking care of myself the way that I know that I should, because it's not all manicures and pedicures, right? It is meditation, it's prayer, it's eating healthy, right? It's a lot of things that
Absolutely.
I'm not perfect at and I don't do every day. And I can tell the difference. I'm a much better mother on the days when I do the things I know I need to do versus the days when I don't. And so it's, how do I want to show up for my daughters, for my family? How do I want them to expect to be treated? And it's all about setting an example for them.
Yeah. Well, speaking of expectations, so how do you overcome expectations of what you should and should not be doing from people in your life? So you are the part-time CEO and you're a mom. And I can imagine just from our conversation that there are some people in your life that may look at you and say, you know, you need to focus on your kids. You're pregnant. You need to focus on that. You need to let all this go. So how do you maneuver through everybody giving you advice? I just think it's funny, you know. Yeah. How do you do it?
I know. You know, I think that, I'll be honest, friendships are hard. I either have, you know, my business friends or I have, you know, my mom friends, you know, like it's hard. And that's something that I'm really working. I think especially because I was so young when I started my business. I'm officially 30 now. So hopefully in my 30s, it'll be a little bit easier. But, you know, I think friendships are hard. Something that I really coach my clients through, because, you know, the majority of my clients work with me because they want that same lifestyle. They want the 6-figure part-time lifestyle, right? Something that I really have to coach them through is being okay with being unrelatable, right? I think we as women, especially, we're so communal and so tribal and so nurturing, and it's so, so beautiful. But I think I have really had to come to terms with this concept of I don't have to be relatable to every single person that I meet. I don't have to, you know, if they come to me and they're exhausted or they're poor or they can't afford this or, you know, they're struggling with that. I can listen and I can be compassionate and I can love them and be there for them without saying, me too. Right? Without essentially saying, you know, oh, you're fighting with your husband. Well, let me tell you what my husband did. Right? Like I really had to learn that. And, you know, I think it's that. I think it's that idea of be okay with being different, be okay with being set apart, be okay with people not really understanding you or what you're doing. But with that being said, be intentional about finding your tribe, right? And I have to say, I am exceptionally blessed because the strongest member of my tribe lives with me, and that's my husband. And he has always been, he's always been wildly supportive. And he, you know, brags about me. And I could tell you the story of my first huge business investment, which was very scary, but he supported me. And that has been so crucial. But I know for a lot of my clients, they have to find their community of sisters who are also building this lifestyle. And they have to be satisfied with maybe having this community of sisters online or in a coaching program and not right in their neighborhood. And that's something that we kind of have to accept when we're reaching for something that is exceptional.
Yeah. And I think it's really important for people to realize that you don't owe anybody anything, and that includes relationships. So
Yeah.
You do not owe someone to be in their life or allow them to be in your life if they're not there for you in your life. Like they're not worthy of being in your life. It's unfortunate that people think that I just, it just frustrates me. I have a friend and they've been friends since second grade. And he is still friends with him. And the other guy is a complete idiot, like seriously an idiot. In and out of jail, steals money, just not a good guy. And he's like, yeah, but we've been friends since second grade. And I'm like, every time he comes around, you get into trouble and your life is worse off than it was before he walked into your life again. Yeah. But I owe him, man, we've been friends since second grade. We used to eat lunch together. I'm like, you don't. You really don't. People need to be, I tell my daughter this all the time. You want people in your life that are worthy of being in your life, period.
Yes.
Because life is so short and so precious. And unfortunately, people do the nice thing. Well, you know what? We've been friends for a long time. I don't want to, push them aside. Well, here's the cool thing. When you let people go out of your life, it's amazing. New people come in. New people come in. And guess what? They're the right people. But I guess there's a certain amount of tribe you're allowed to have, because I find when I just did a sweep again, I just said out, okay, they're gone. And I just pushed them out and made it clear that, I can't be around all this negativity. It just doesn't work for me. And as soon as I did that, new people popped into my life. Amazing people that live a life of passion and action and love and are heart-centered. And it's just amazing to me how many people, yes, are stuck with people that they feel obligated to have in their lives.
Well, totally. Well, what it is that the new people were not in energetic alignment with the old people.
Yeah.
And so your vibration, you were vibrating at the frequency
there you go. Now we're talking, Janelle. Now we're talking about, okay, raise the vibration, baby.
Quantum physics?
Yeah. Okay.
Go there?
If this was on camera, you'd see my face. I just lit up. Like I always talk about raising your vibration. And so I will acknowledge, what's your husband's name?
Robert.
Oh, I love him already. Okay. How cool is that? So, all right. So here's the cool thing about Robert is that you're a strong, powerful, independent woman. And what that takes for Robert to have to do is he has to continue, because you're raising your vibration all the time. Yeah. You are getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And he, because he's a good man, is raising his vibration to meet you. And that is such a beautiful thing. And that's so important. You have to have people in your life that have raised their vibration to you. And when we say raise the vibration, it could be a sideways vibration. It's not good or bad. It's just the people in my life, my tribe, our vibration is right there. They're ride or die with me. My inner circle, they're ride or die. And they keep raising the bar. They keep elevating. And I don't want to be, the smartest person in the world. I don't want to be the most successful, or not in the world, but in the room. I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. Right. I don't want to be the most successful person in the room. I don't want to be the richest person in the room. I want to be around people that I can raise my vibration to. That's
totally.
And that's what I've been committed to do. And the people in my life, they play big. And it's made me play big, because when you don't play big, you get people in your life that don't play big. And if you hang around people, you can look at your life and you can see where you are in the world. And if you look at the 5 people that you spend the most time with, that's your life. If you have a bunch of negative Nellies or negative Nelsons, or I couldn't think of an N-word, negative Nicks. I couldn't think of a man word, a name for a man, but with an N. And so you are that. So if you don't like your life and you look around the people that are, holding you down, such as like, Janelle, you can't do this. You can't just start a tutoring business. You can't have a coaching company. You can't do this, because their vibration is not anywhere near yours, and their self-worthiness and their self-doubt and all of their fears, they're bringing them onto you because they don't feel that they could be that successful.
I mean, totally. And what you're talking about really is calibration, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like what are you calibrating to, right? Going back to the frequency, what are you calibrating to? Looking at your environment, looking at the people that you hang out with. And Rob, I know that you're a coach too. This is why coaching is so important, right? Because it's hard to find someone in your everyday life. It's hard to bump into someone you can calibrate to at the grocery store or at the park or at daycare, right? You have to be intentional about going out, finding the person and the people that you want to calibrate to, and figuring out how to get into their circles. And we are living in such an amazing time where you can pay. We get the opportunity, Rob, to pay to calibrate to people and to be in those incredible environments. I mean, 100 years ago, it wouldn't have mattered how much money I had. I never would have been able to get into the room. You would have only been able to get into the room if you had a good family name, right? And so it's like we have this opportunity to pay to get into the rooms with these people. I mean, people don't realize how much of a gift and a blessing that is.
Absolutely. And it's so people go, Guy, you're so lucky. I've paid a lot of money to very, very successful coaches. A lot of money. I'm talking like you could buy a house for the amount of money I've paid. And
hello.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so powerful. And I don't say that to brag. I don't say that to puff up or anything. I'm saying that I put skin in the game. I invested in that. And let me tell you how rigorous I was on myself with my coaching, being a participant was to the nth degree because I had skin in the game.
I mean, absolutely. And I don't think we ever made the transition into how I went from a tutoring company to a business coach. And I know there's a lot of people in this community, this online community, who are like coaches, coaching coaches who coach coaches, right? And so I do want to make that distinction too, Rob, of when I realized it was time for me to, move up in business, move away from tutoring, right? And move into consulting. And it was a significant journey to get there.
Oh yeah.
I made a huge coaching investment, and we were living at poverty level. My husband was a student. I was the main breadwinner. I mean, we were on government assistance. I made a huge 5-figure coaching investment.
And it made a difference, didn't it? Oh yeah. It made a difference.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I 10x that investment within 12 months. And I was smart about it, right? I didn't just throw money at someone wanting them to solve my problems. I made a smart investment.
Right.
But I mean, it put me in another league, and it really made my success, as long as I, did what the coach said, it made my success inevitable. And so you don't ever have to apologize or give a caveat about bragging, because anyone who has done this and anyone who has been successful knows that money is the fastest and easiest way to quantum leap into the next level.
Absolutely. I mean, I've been doing voiceovers for 30 plus years. I'm at the top of my game. I do national TV commercials on the regular, and they're running right now on TV. And I've got 33 books on Audible. I'm the narrator for Hal Elrod's Miracle Morning, which has sold close to 500,000 copies. And
wow,
why am I successful? Oh, I don't know. I pay a voiceover coach, even at the level that I'm at. Why? Because I don't know everything. And I need another set of ears to make sure. Otherwise, you get complacent and you just think you know everything. The day you think you know everything and the day you think you don't need assistance is the day that you have made the biggest mistake of your life. Tiger Woods has a coach. Magic Johnson has a coach. All those Olympic athletes have coaches, but they're the best in the world. Yeah, and they have coaches. It's so important. It's so important. And you need that outside opinion And it will get you to success so much faster. Like so much faster. Like I just did a programming here. We're here on Clubhouse. So I'm master moderator now. And there's a woman who's a master moderator. She created this term and it's on Clubhouse and she makes $60,000 a month moderating rooms on Clubhouse. I'm like, I want to do that. I have the skill set to do that. However, what I don't have is her lead generation emails. I don't have her, all of the things that I would have to go figure out. I could go figure it out in, 6-7 months. I could just figure it out. However, I paid her. I got the information and now I'm launching that. And so you can say I get fired up. Investing in yourself, and this is another thing of self-care, and really dive in and put your skin in the game is what will set you apart on your journey to your happily ever after.
Well, totally. I mean, what you don't have is the blood, sweat, and tears that she put in to figure out this process, right?
Exactly.
And so I always say, you can spend money or you can spend time, right? And listen, I've got 2 kids. Like, I don't have time. Right?
Nope.
I don't want to spend my time figuring it out. I would so much rather spend money. So now, I mean, just like you, anytime you want to up level, and this is how the successful people do it. Anytime I want to up level, my first question is, all right, who can I pay?
That's exactly.
Who can I pay to get me there faster, to help me figure this out? Because I don't want to put in the blood, sweat, and tears. And oh my gosh, I'm going to get that book on Audible right now because I love Hal Elrod. Great job. That's amazing.
Now it might be 500,001 books sold. Oh man, Janelle, you are just amazing. And I want to thank you so much for being here today.
Rob, this has been such a pleasure. Thank you so much for what you do and for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. If you want to reach out to Janelle, you can do it at JanelleLara.com. That's JanelleLara.com. It's also in the show notes, so you can check it out there. But I just want to say thank you, Janelle. You're amazing. And wow. Kim Woods, I love you. Yeah.
Thank you, Kim.
Yeah, she's amazing. And thank you so much for your support and taking time out of your busy and precious day to listen to Life Transformation Radio. We so appreciate it. Thank you for allowing me, along with my very special guest and new friend, to touch your heart, move your soul, and inspire you to live a life of transformation. I'm Rob Actis. Until next time.
This is Life Transformation Radio. Download complete.